following along, not just watching. This is really important. You got to write these things down. That's part of the practicing, right? And one of the things that you guys make mistakes is people start wandering with their letters and their numbers all over these kind of places, and that leads to mistakes. So do practice, right? So we're not going to do tons of notes today. What I'm going to do is practice more bed math questions, right? I'm trying to get you to do Mr. Dhaliwal's way, which is slightly different than your other teacher's way, right? So I'm asking you to start looking at it slightly differently. So we're going to do a few questions together. Then I'll get you guys grab some whiteboards, and we'll do some more practices on the whiteboard as well. Okay? The next day, when I see you guys again on Friday's assembly, but on Tuesday, we'll do a couple more questions and we'll work on our assignment. Okay? So today we'll just do a few of these. All right. So, going off of last day, the questions are getting bigger and getting more complicated. To make it smaller looking, easier to do, we break it up into parts. And the tip that I gave you last day was find adding and subtracting that is not in brackets. Those are your very last steps in bed math. So we use that to break up a longer question into smaller parts. Because that's the last thing you're going to do. So on a question like this, we're going to kind of jump around the pages, right? Do you see any adding and subtracting that is not in brackets? Right? Do you see any plus signs or minus signs not in brackets in this question right here? Where are they? Anybody? Lucas?
It's like it's in the middle.
In the middle. So we see in the middle we see I see a plus sign here. Right in the middle. Anything else? And a minus right here. Okay. So now with these two signs, I want you to draw little vertical lines underneath it. So go downwards. Little dots going like this, breaking up into parts. Okay? These are little walls we're going to build. These questions are not too bad. These walls come really, really handy when we do our fractions units next chapter. And we're doing bed math fractions. Alright, so now, these walls make this into three parts. We have a part to the left, a part in the middle, a part to the right. Alright? And we just do each part. Right? And you can pick whatever part you want. Let's just start from the left. So when you decide to do a calculation, you look at that calculation. So we're just looking at this one here. And the first thing you should ask yourself is, how many math operations do you see? Now, operation, remember, adding, subtracting, multiplying, dividing, exponents, brackets, that kind of thing. How many do you see here? What do you see? Right? You need to go spot those. That's the first step. How many do you see? What do you see? Mason, what do you see in this question? Right? Just don't worry about all that. We're just looking at this. What are the operations? Adding, subtracting, Marcus?
Exponents and multiplication.
You have an exponent here, all right, and a multiplication. Technically, we have a bracket there as well, but there's only one number inside the bracket, so there's no calculation. So I want you to get a habit to look for these things. Look for the stuff in bed math. We have two operations. That means this is going to be two steps. Right? So you look at how many operations you have. Okay, I'm going to have to do 2 steps. And you go, okay, I have to choose. What do I do first? Do I do times or do I do exponents first? Right? You don't get to willy-nilly choose what you do first. Bed math tells you what order you do first. What do we do first according to bed math? Correct?
Exponents.
Exponents. So we're only ever combining 2 numbers at a time. So we're going to combine the 2 numbers for the exponents at a time. Right? So we're going to do that calculation. If we have 3 exponent 2, what does that mean? We talked about that last day. Does that mean 3 times 3? Does it mean 3 times 2? What does that mean? Hear it?
3 times 3.
3 times 3. This means 3 times 3. You can write it down or you can do it in your head. 3 times 3, which is?
9.
9, not 6, 9. Right? Okay. Location of numbers is really important. We're working downwards. These two things turn into this. Don't have your 9 drifted over here. Right? It's going to make you lose track with everything else. So these two numbers combine to make this 9. Then we drop down anything that we haven't used in this part. So we haven't used the 6 and we haven't used that times. All right? So now we go, okay, we do this multiplication. 6 times 9. What number do we get there? Xander?
54.
That's right. So that makes 54. Okay? All right. So now this part is down to a single number. We move on to the next part. Oh, the next part in the middle only has one number in it. So there's no calculation there to do. So we're just going to drop that 3 down to the very bottom. Get it to the same height as this number. Okay. Then we look at this and go, last part. We need to do that calculation. How many operations are there? Just like the first one. Hear it?
1.
1. There. What's the operation?
Multiplication.
Multiplication. What about this? Is this not an operation?
There's only one number.
It's only one number inside the bracket. So that's not a minus sign. That is a negative sign. Right? So that's going to make bed math in grade 8 a little bit harder. You're going to have extra pluses and minuses. Does not mean plus and minus. Some mean positive and negative. So you need to go look at it and see if it's a positive number or a negative number. So we're going to go one operation, one step. 5 times negative 2 is what number? Marcus?
Negative 10.
Negative 10. And we're going to drop our answer, since it's one step, right down to the bottom. Okay, so we've got our answers for all 3 parts done. Now we need to combine all the parts. We need to drop the signs for each of the things in between. This was a minus sign in between these numbers. This was a plus sign in between these two numbers. Now, before you start combining all the parts together, you double check if there's any double signs next to each other. And right here, we have a double sign right next to each other, right there. So we're going to combine this to make a single sign. Is that going to combine to make a single plus or a single minus?
Minus.
A minus. A positive and a negative makes a minus. So we can get rid of those and just put a minus sign there. All right? So the very last thing we should typically do is adding and subtracting. Those are tied in bed math. So that means when things are tied, you just go from left to right. So you go 54 minus 3 is 51. Right? Then you have your minus 10. 51 minus 10?
41.
41.
Yeah, I said that.
Oh, I thought I heard 31. And that's it. Okay. All right. So notice placement of these numbers. The 51 was underneath that minus sign. These two numbers combined with the minus to make the 51. So I can track where these came from. The 41 was 51 minus 10 combined to make this. So when you're looking up and down the page, you can see the two numbers that combine to make that single number. In that way, we can spot our mistakes. We are going to make mistakes at this, right? Let's try another question. All right. Okay. So now, we're going to work our way around here. This question here, our first step we're going to do is to clean it up. There are extra signs. That's what happens with positive and negative numbers. There's extra signs. We're going to combine signs and get rid of things that we don't need, right? And just make it a little bit nicer to look at, right? So we're going to do that, learn that skill. Then when we do the quiz, test questions, I won't make you do these extra steps. But there's something important for you to be able to look at. So we look at this 5 with this brackets. Do we need those brackets there? No, we only need brackets if they're separating things apart or containing things. There's only one single number there. So we're going to keep that 5 there. And we don't need those brackets. And the same thing happens with that 2. That 2 does not, the bracket doesn't serve any purposes, so we'll get rid of that 2. Then we have that times symbol. Okay? Now there's 2 different kinds of brackets. Right? And then we'll do a square bracket here. And we're going to look inside. Okay. Do we need to have this bracket here? No, there's only one thing here. It's not separating anything out. And it's a positive 5. That's not adding. That's a positive 5. So let's get rid of the extra plus sign. And just call it 5. Okay. How about here? Oh, we have a double sign here. We have a minus and a minus. We can clean that up. Yes?
Addition 3.
It makes an addition sign. Okay? So, this is not a necessary step to do, but often it'll lead to less mistakes. If you look at this second question we wrote down, it means exactly the same as the top one, but it's a lot nicer to look at. Okay? So now, we are going to go through the same steps as before. First step, any plus signs or minus signs not in brackets. That's where we want to split this thing apart. Do you see any? Amelia? The minus 2 here. So here. Right here. And we're going to draw a little wall there. Alright? So that separates apart. Is there any other? Right? There's nothing else. Everything else is inside of brackets. Right? So now we have 2 parts. The left part is easy. It's a single number, so no calculations there to do. We need to do the right side. Right? So before we start doing the right side, we talk about operations. Right? So we know how many steps there are. So how many operations are on the right-hand side? Right? What are they? So we're just looking at this side here. Right? Covering all this up. How many math operations are there? And what are they? Right? Right? This is what you need to be able to start looking at. It takes practice. Anybody? Amelia? 2, and what are they?
2 times, well, 5 plus 3 and then 2 times.
We have a plus here and a times here, right? And technically a bracket, but brackets are just containers. It's not necessarily a calculation. So now, what do we do? 2 operations, 2 steps. What do we do first? Marcus?
We do the addition first because it's in brackets.
We do the addition first because it's inside of brackets. Brackets gets done first. So we are going to do this calculation first. And 5 plus 3 gives us 8, right? And we're going to write 8 right underneath that plus sign. Everything else stays the same. All right? Then we do our second operation, which was the times. Right? We got 2 times 8, which is which number? 16. This part is down to a single number. So we go to the other part. We're going to drop that 5 all the way to the bottom here. We have that minus sign in between. There you go. 5 minus 16. That's going to give us our final answer. All right? What's 5 minus 16? Lucas?
11.
Sorry?
11.
Close. Not quite right. Does everybody think it's 11? Or did somebody have a different guess? Carl?
9.
Not 9. Amber? Minus 11. You have 5. You take away more than you have, so you end up in the negative territory. So negative 11. All right? All right. We're getting there. We're getting there. It's a slow process. Let's skip the... Let's see. Let me just look at these. Let's go. No, let's just do this one here. All right. All right. So let's not clean this one up. All right. Let's try to do it without cleaning up. So first thing, plus and minuses not inside of brackets. Do you see any? Do you see any plus and minus signs inside of bracket? Hear it?
Yeah, and then the times sign, like the adding kind and the dividing.
Yeah, so right here. Right? So we're going to split this right here. So now we have two parts. Let's go from left to right for each part. So the first part, how many math operations are here? Just one. And that is that times. Right? This is not subtracting. There's only one number here. That's a -2. This is not adding. There's only one number there. It's +4. So we're going to combine these two together by multiplying. What number do we get? We have -2 times +4. Marcus?
-8.
-8. Okay? Then we go to the other side. How many math operations are there? Right? Oliver? One. And what is it? The dividing, right? Right? And this is +9, that's -3. So 3 fits to 9 how many times? 3 times. Is it going to be a +3 or is it going to be -3? Negative. So we did this step. We did this step. We dropped the sign in between. Right? And then we do that calculation. Now, there's a double sign here. We have a plus and a minus right here. So what does that combine to make? Lucas? Minus. So it becomes -8 minus 3. What number do we end up there? Marcus? -11. So now, when you're looking at these questions, it sort of looks like it. If you're a foreign reader, didn't see you right, it looks like we went left to right. Right? It looks like you did in grade 11, the same way you did in grade 7. But we know we went top to bottom. Still displays the same information. Right? But if you go from top to bottom in parts, you're going to make a lot less mistakes. Okay? So, I'm going to get you to grab more boards now.